What is carbon footprint? What can we say is carbon footprint? Amount of carbon dioxide, or the total amount of greenhouse gases that are emitted by a company, by an industry, by a country. So that is what is called carbon footprint. The total amount of greenhouse gases that I produce is my carbon footprint, and that is personal carbon footprint for a company. The amount of greenhouse that they produce in their processes and activities, now that is their carbon footprint, and in most cases called the corporate carbon footprint. Now, this of course is very calculated. They are online calculators that have been designed to assist you get a total amount of greenhouse gases that you produce, and of course this now is measured in tons per year. On average, globally, every person, an individual, produces about 19 tons per year of greenhouse gases. Now, imagine 19 tons of greenhouse gases, like 19 tons. You know how much that is per year. Now, that is the global average green carbon footprint per person. Of course, this varies depending on where you are on the globe. Like, for example, the more developed a country is, the higher the carbon footprint per person. And of course, now the problem is that here in Kenya, in Africa, as much as we are not very developed, the problem is we are getting there. It's not really a problem, but it's a concern because we are getting there. In Kenya here, we are in the developing process, and of course we are developing very fast. Soon we shall be there. So the more we develop, the more we are polluting the globe, the more we are producing greenhouse gases, the more the carbon footprint of our country is getting higher. So that is generally what is carbon footprint. The amount of greenhouse gases that you produce as an individual in an year. And we have been told that climate change is really, really hitting us hard, and we have very, very, very limited time to either reverse what we have already done, or at least minimize on the amount that we are producing. And of course, the only way is either to get rid of what is already in the atmosphere and minimize what we are producing. So we have been told that for us to be able to reverse climate change, like where it is, we are almost getting at the tipping point. Before we just get there, so to be able to reverse that effect, we need to reduce our carbon footprint, personal carbon footprints, to 0, or at least 2 tons per year of greenhouse gases. How do you, as an individual, produce greenhouse gases? That is a question that I expect you'll be asking yourself. Now, this is how you as an individual is causing, or your activities are causing greenhouse gases. For example, let's say you go to work every morning. You either drive or you use a matatu or the public transport. In most cases, like most of us. So when you're driving, you're using fossil fuel, either using diesel or petrol. And remember, these vehicles, after combustion of that petrol, that fuel, they emit a lot of gases into the atmosphere. So assuming you're using a matatu that is 14-seater, so you are 14 of you people in that vehicle, and that vehicle from your place to town releases several kgs of gas, or even 1 kg of the greenhouse gases as it is moving, the combustion emissions. Then if it is divided into 14 pieces, then every one of you will have a share of that emission. You get what I'm saying? The other thing is, for example, you're cooking. What are you using? Are you using the LPG gases? What are you using to cook? Are you using fossil fuel, the kerosene? Are you using charcoal in the worst case scenario? Are you using fuel, like the wood fuel? What type of cooking energy are you using? Are you using biogas, which is awesome in this case? So whatever you're using as you cook, you're producing emissions. The other one is the waste that you're producing from your house. For example, you're doing kales and you want to make ugali na skuma. The skumas, the peels that you're going to get rid of course, you don't put them in your house forever. In most cases, you do not decompose them. So you put them in your trash box and throw them out. And finally, they end up into the dump site. So on those dump sites, these things are going to rot. And after they have rot, they're going to produce methane. And this methane goes into the atmosphere and it is a greenhouse gas. So we can say that greenhouse gas that is going to be produced from your kitchen, then that can be accounted back to you, or from your food. So that can be part of your carbon footprint. That goes into the sum of the carbon footprint. So the such issues or such things, even as you're breathing, you're breathing out carbon dioxide that is also ending up into the atmosphere. So we can also take that into account if we talk about how much you're producing, how much greenhouse gases you're producing into the atmosphere. So almost everything that we do today is causing some emission into the atmosphere, including the phones that we are using. They are using electricity. This electricity has been generated in some way, or during the process of processing, or you getting the energy to your house, there's some emissions that happens. So every one of us is producing greenhouse gases. Everyone is part of the climate change that we are seeing. We have caused it in one way or the other, but of course now the intensity is what is going to matter, because you cannot equate the produce or the amount of greenhouse gases an individual or a farmer is going to produce to one that a company is going to produce. Of course, we cannot be able to equate the amount of greenhouse gases that a developed country is going to produce and compare it to an African country that is really struggling to develop. We cannot be able to equate the two. Some of them will be high, some will be low, and of course that is what is happening. That is the norm. But now the thing here is that you need to know you're producing carbon dioxide in one way and other greenhouse gases, and of course you need to know that there are ways that you can reduce on these gases, because we are not on the right trend when it comes to climate change. So every one of us, in our small ways, we need to take action. So back to what we were doing in this video, we were talking about what is carbon footprint, and I have told you what is carbon footprint. It is the total amount of greenhouse gases that you produce into the atmosphere. It is calculated in tons per year. It can be you personally, you as an individual, you as your family, we as a nation, we as a globe, or even an industry, or even a ceremony. We can be able to calculate the carbon footprint of a ceremony. So I'll see you in the next video, but till then, subscribe to my channel. Hit on this subscribe button, share this video with your friends, and of course hit on the notification bell so that you're notified the next time I post a video. I'll see you in the next time, but till then, keep safe.